Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we're jumping back into the tournament finals. It's turn 36, and last episode, guys, was crazy. It was wild. We had Ulm getting completely elfed. I mean, Ulm has been elfed 6 ways till Sunday, but has not yet lost a major army. Meanwhile, he has the Giants knocking on his door, which he's not very happy about. And we had what looked to be a rather decisive war with Bandar Log coming to a close, only to find Bandar Log kicking Vanarus off the Bandar Log capital and sending a very clear signal to any vultures nearby that Bandar Log and Vanarus are up for the taking. And we will see if any of those signals were met. I was kind of predicting that Yis would probably attack Vanarus after Vanarus lost that army. And honestly, that's kind of been a theme. We'll see if it continues. But like Ulm got attacked after he lost a major battle on Pythium. And that's how you know you have good neighbors, is they wait for you to lose a battle and then they end their nap with you. Vanaheim sadly but smartly did not fight on my cap. I accidentally took out another squad of Vans just with regular Ulm troops. I really wish I could fight him 1v1. However, N starting to attack him next turn. And we'll have to see about this. I'm not a believer in the End versus Vanaheim war. I have to hope he doesn't keep suiciding into me, rallies home, and gives me a chance to retake my lands with small squads of troops. The raiding cut my income to almost nothing, so I can't even recruit troops from his cap. However, he is able to make a large trade with Yis, trading hammers, bracers, and quills and 20 water gems for gold. Oh boy. I bet Yis is thrilled about that. Which is pretty reasonable, I think, for both parties involved. That will help keep me afloat in the next... And this is the other thing, too. Like, when you're getting 2v1 or whatever, you don't really care who you trade with. Like, whoever will trade with you, it's fine. You're not, like, worried about Yis and trading him hammers and all this other shit he needs. 20 water gems. You're not worried about that. You're like, I just need to survive, which is the way to play. It is not like a misplay, but it is a liability for everybody else that is not you. And it's like a long-term liability for you, but trading a short-term benefit for a long-term liability is pretty easy to do. I hope Jotun stays on that fort to siege it down. I'd like to have a big fight with the troops inside, plus my cap army, plus the Pythium army that is now between the cap... Oh, the Pythium army, the army returning from Pythium. If he moves off the fort and goes south, we'll still have a big fight, but I'll be missing a pile of mages and some troops. I was able to gem bait a bit with that earthquake. I have a random mage poking out with gear on him to try and gem bait again. This can be a very effective for blood slaves used in communions. So apparently he was pretty happy with that earthquake bait. I was less pleased. From Vanarus, I was wondering if Bandar was ever going to come out. I should have been more prepared. I probably would have won with some losses if I bothered to walk a sage with Power of the Spheres and Anti-Magic. Mind Burned was the right move there. And that one really should have been accessible much earlier. It's internal damage, which is pretty rare in the game. And the damage... Oh, and damage with that tag is one of the few things that can go through Moss Body without getting the damage reduction applied. I don't think it will matter. I took some gold losses, but Bandar's still crippled economically and can't keep up on research, even with his Mother Oak up. I probably have a higher nature and astral income than he does. I'll plan to go again once I've secured... See, I don't think he's thinking about this right. The problem, and this is honestly the problem in a lot of situations, it's not... like getting knocked off. This is why you really don't want to have like a slow grindy war in a lot of circumstances, because even if you're winning it, like even if you're decisively winning a slower grindy war, but you're taking like major losses and you're diluting the military power density on that portion of the map, highly likely you get backstabbed. So we'll see. I'm very worried about the Yis attack on him. I'm rather disappointed in these forts, though. They're all low-pot provinces with no known magic sites, and I can't tell why he even built them. Most of them don't even have temples in them. So they don't have rec points for making troops and couldn't make mages without temples. So they represent like a 900 to 1,400 gold investment, offering absolutely no value in return. Sometimes they're literally placed next to good provinces, yeah. So apparently Bandar Log, while doing interesting things in expansion, very much struggled in the mid game with what to do, where to place forts, how many of them to build. He just seemed to kind of put them down where he felt like, and did not really get mage production online. You can see the second banner that Bandar Log came out with the mages in last episode. You know, he's able to do cool stuff. But I mean, the reason you play, one of the main reasons you play Bandar Log is because they have excellent mages. Word going around is that Yis is agitating against me. I'm not sure why. I'm not too worried about an anti-Vanarus coalition at the moment because Yis is right there sitting on 4 capitals. I'll have research for Frozen Seas in about 4 to 5 turns, but I won't be able to pull the trigger immediately. He has enough Astral in his Pretender to cast the spell, but I don't think he's being pushed to spend gems, so he probably has a bank built up. The other players seem mostly scared of him, and basically want to hope that Yis bungles away his position entirely on his own against some drastically smaller player. I'm going to clean up Bandar for now, and build up some siege forces, hopefully to snipe a throne or 2 off Yis when he inevitably goes for thrones. If I take him alone, I don't see it going well. He'll be bigger and wealthier. Even so, if I can handle his 80 Sacred Doom stack, he should be capable... Okay. He's bigger and wealthier, so even if I can handle his 80 Sacred Doom stack, he should be capable of ruining my position, even if I beat him handily on my own. That just means I have an angry Yis that I can't finish off, and a coalition of players that erroneously decided that the Yis problem is solved, and they should coalition against Vanarus instead. So he's saying if I beat Yis, then I probably get backstabbed, which potentially true. Scrying on a fort you're sieging reports what's inside. Okay. Okay, coming down here. So let's go back to the Ulm War, because that is where it's happening. First we have a gem bait. This one apparently successful in terms of... Okay. I don't even know if it... Did it use slaves? Normally it's 4 items you need. I would say failure on the gem bait front. Okay. Scrotty raiding Ulm. Ulm trying to take things back with the scout. Again, trying to... I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know. I know the Jotunheim player, and I know he's a good player. Like, you're not gonna... This is not gonna work. We're gonna hope you forgot to put PD in your provinces. By the way, excellent move in a noob game. But against a good player, they're almost always gonna check every turn, unless they're completely checked out of the game. And yeah, this... a few guys here just trying to raid and take stuff, but they're just completely overwhelmed by the forces of the elves. This is the Chad 25 Fire Gem Vanyarl, I think. Yeah. Okay. Walls are closing in around Ulm. Ulm really needs a good battle here. Oh man, he's just been getting completely outplayed. And just catches scouts here. I mean, been completely befuddled. Now, Jotunheim has a chance. Honestly, okay, so if you're Jotunheim, I think you don't fight into Ulm's Doom stack. The only way you lose this war is fighting into Ulm's Doom stack. The problem, though, if you don't fight into Ulm's Doom stack, like if you give up this siege, then all the spoils are going to go to Vanaheim. So, Yeah. I think what like Ohm's doom stacking up, which is a reasonable thing to do when you're 2v1'd. What he hasn't done is like Vanheim is using very predictable things. Like he's either got a Van Jarl or he's got some Vans moving around in small squads. I feel like what Ohm missed and should have done is like split his guys up into small enough squads that can either A, take PD out, like which Vanheim hasn't been doing PD dumps that we've seen. Can either take PD out or take out these Vans. These Vans, like we've said, are not very scary. They have high attack, right? So I think there's probably like either if you have a long weapon, you don't give a shit, and you just do Legions of Steel and they can't hurt you, and then you Iron Skin your Priest and you do Strength of Giants. And I'm pretty sure small squads of All Mights will tear these guys apart. But he seems to have kind of given up the raiding gore, and I'm not totally sure why. Now he has, if you didn't know, Sakane has a YouTube channel, and he's been putting a lot of this up. I haven't been watching any of his videos on it yet, but you can go check it out and anyway, get his perspective on what he's thinking. I mean, on one hand, while you have your Doomstack alive, you are not dead. And some forts. So he hasn't lost any forts yet, but he's lost a lot of land. So I don't know. I think if you're Jotunheim, you don't have this fight. You just run away, you take other stuff. But the problem for Jotunheim is there's not much more to gain. Like, what is he gonna? He's got like 3 provinces, 4 including this one. I mean, he needs to. I think what you do is you just screw off and you hope this army comes down here and messes with Vanheim, and then you come back on it. But we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the solution to the Vanheim raiding is not really that tricky. You need small amounts of PD, but not tiny, like 10 PD, 12 PD, 15 PD. A few All Mights, a mage or 2. If you're being super fancy, a Black Lord Thug. But that can hold off a lot of this. Now, I mean, the problem is once you start doing one thing, then somebody will come up with just enough stuff to counter the one thing you're doing. So you want to be dynamic and mix it up. But, in essence, Vanheim's doing one thing. So it's your turn to do the one thing that counters his one thing. Now, anyway, all this being said, I haven't tested it, right? So I don't know. There's just intuition from playing Dominions a lot that it should not be terribly hard for Ulm to counter the Vanheim raiding squads. And I think the answer is Flail Infantry with Strength of Giants and Legions of Steel on them. Okay. Coming over here. Well, I don't think there's any. Let's make sure there's nothing else to see. I don't think there is. Okay, coming over here, Yis storms the Pythium fort. And apparently Pythium did have a fair amount of stuff inside. About 10 mages and a few idiots. So that's not going to do much. I think he's just going to lose maybe some of the Blackhawks. He's got a thug that jumped in here in the back line. A great sort of sharpness in case there was something particularly scary, and a rabbit foot charm, which is very good on Yis stuff, and then a lodestone amulet to deal with MR negate stuff. We could look. They're casting Thunderstrike. They may do some Astral stuff. He might have lost a Morlark Knight or 2, but I doubt he. Oh my gosh, there's some Shadow Blast coming out at the end. That was kind of. Oh my god. Did he Hellpower? I think he Hellpowered. Okay, we're going to watch it again because it was cool. I didn't know there was a Hellpower communion. Because that's one way to quickly inject some drugs into your communion. So he was breaking into blood because he got a Camazot and empowered him in blood. Okay, he still hasn't cast it yet. There goes Hellpower. Now, the nice thing about Hellpower on a communion is you're going to give your slaves a... Wait, I thought it was more than that. I thought you got a lot of reinvigoration from it. Yeah, I thought it was 5. These guys are slaves. Did they not get it right on time? Huh. They got the horror mark. I'm assuming they got... We're going to watch this again. It does not appear the fatigue reinvigoration goes through from hell power. Yeah, this is from earth power. Because hell power still hasn't gone off yet. Oh, that's weird. I did not know that. But they must have gotten the path boost, right? Oh, well, they don't have path, so it doesn't... A lot of the hell power is actually kind of wasted here. It just gets this guy up to a reasonably high level. I guess this was for Shadow Blast. Reinvigoration a little greedy. He casts Raise Dead. Which probably means... I don't know. I don't think he was actually scripted for that. Bloodburst? I don't think he was scripted for that either. I get the feeling he had something else scripted and it didn't work. Like too many of the communion slaves died or something. I don't know what it would be. It could have been darkness or life after death. I don't know if Pythium's that high in research, though. Anyway, that was kind of cool. But nothing of consequence really died. The Morvark Knights, you lost 2. I mean, the things that died were the Black Hawks and then some archers. Nothing Yiss cared about. So essentially 0 losses for Yiss, or 2 Morvark Knights were the losses. Which is almost nothing. And, yeah. And that is, I think, the end of Pythium. I don't know if... he still has 1 fort left, so we don't have the message yet. So this turn will be an interesting turn. This turn we will get to see, this coming one, if Yiss attacks into Vanaheim. And my guess is this turn he does attack into Vanaheim. If I were a betting man. The thing is, you do have to worry about a coalition forming against you, but coalitions are very hard to form when everybody's already in other wars. This means everybody has to get detangled. So, like, Vanaheim's going to form a coalition against him. Well, he has to get Yiss off his back. That means he has to give back a ton of stuff to Yiss. Like, these things are very hard to untangle. In fact, it's more likely a coalition forms against Yiss if he chills out and waits. Like, right now, the game is not in a state heavily conducive to coalition forming. Let's take a look at this front. We have a Vanabog coming in, clearing out some PD. Because I guess there are a bunch of... Wait, how does this work? This looks like a Vanaroos fort. Did they clear the fort? Oh, I think this was inside the fort. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it just sends a Vanabog in to kill everything. Cathartic Lion Pelt. Well, that's not how you say it. Catharionic Lion Pelt, and then a Frostbrand Vine Shield Ring of Regen. Probably the most basic standard thug gear in the game. Okay, so he's finished sieging this fort. I wonder how he did it. I don't remember there being a big army on top. Maybe there's some stealthy army I'm not aware of. So anyway, that's good. He's got more of this infrastructure locked down. His god has built a fort on this throne. And this is the throne of the moon, so you get growth and precision. Okay. I think he's... Let's see if he's claimed it. Okay, he has. He's got 2. Oh, defense skill's really nice, too. Okay. And this guy's basically reset. So I think what you... Okay, at least... Okay, so he's moving mages out with his Doomstack now. And I use Doomstack a little loosely here. But he's not researching with them. He's got them running around, which is good because they are required to run around with them if you're going to have a hope of Ernest not coming in and killing everybody. And presumably there's reasonably high Bandar Dominion here, so this guy is going to get a pretty big MR check, or MR penalty coming over there. I don't know if Mind Burns are going to be enough to kill Ernest. They might need Soul Slay. I think there's a very high likelihood Ernest gets sent in here. Because even though it's not great, like with the MR and stuff, if this is only like 4 or 5 Dominion, I think Ernest gets sent in. If it's like 9 or 10, probably not. Certainly it's going to be something that this guy's considering. You kill this army, and it's basically the end now of Vanaheim. Except they also do have a monolith, which they haven't been using, which I'm a little sad about. Like they could have, unless it just came out, it might have just come out this turn. Imprisoned Gods are awakening, so okay. It's probably what it was. But I feel like I've seen, I don't know. I can't remember if we've seen this monolith before. But either way, his monolith is now ready and available for deployment. Whether it was or not before, I'm not sure. But that's going to make it much more difficult to take any fort. One of the things you can do with monoliths is just jump them between forts with labs. Okay, so I think we're done with the Bandar log stuff. What this is basically going to come down to is Vanarus getting enough stuff to siege through all the forts. Okay, he's got some Great Eagles. Okay, so Great Eagles are a great unit for sieging down things. They're very gem efficient, and they're actually decent in combat, unlike other things like Blackhawks and stuff. And then Corpse Construct's also pretty good siege chaff. I think I have been underestimating the Vanarus siege force. I think there's a bunch of Oathbound, like Glamored units running around that are not participating in battles, so I can't see them. But they seem to be participating in sieging, because that's the only way to explain a lot of these forts getting their walls worked down. Like this, Great Eagles are excellent at sieging, but I don't think he has enough Great Eagles here to justify cracking this fort this turn. So anyway, we will find out. But whatever he has is not going to be enough if Yis attacks him. So that will be very decisive next turn to see if Yis rolls out over there. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Speaking of Yis, let's go take a look at Satis. Satis just riding out in different directions. Yis working on this fort with basically a bunch of mercs he doesn't care about. And I'm almost certain there's going to be a large squad of Morvarks that he sent down here. Because this is not enough. The force over here is not enough to account for all of the Morvarks that Yis has. Yis has at least another 50 that are probably goon squatted up somewhere. Maybe more. Probably could have by now up to like 150. Yeah, that would be like the upper limit, and he might have lost some, so that might not quite be possible. But yeah, he's getting to the point he could have that many total. Okay. Anything else of note? No, just extinguishing little Pythium rebellions. And presumably he's going to come in here and knock out all of this. There's just so many ways to do it. Like, this could get picked off by cloud trapezing thugs, bunch of different things. Or he could just send a thug to each of these 3 provinces and be pretty safe. But there's really not much Satis can do against Morvarks right now, just because the Morvarks have a poison resistance bless, which in general Morvarks are always going to have, because you kind of need it to expand underwater. Yeah, there's just not a ton. And like Skelly Spam's kind of good, but only in critical numbers. And Morbarks are reasonably good at clearing out Skelly Spam. Like it's something they're good at. But enough Skelly Spam could solve the problem. It's just Satis is not going to have it. So I think, assuming there's a Morvark squad here, it's going to be all she wrote. And by the way, supposed to be attacking Vanaheim this turn. Vanaheim this turn. And it does look... Okay, so he has done it. A single attack? A single attack. Okay, here we go. some Gog Reavers. This lady with a Vision's Foe. Guess to deal with little elves. I would say not terribly sophisticated army. No mages. This is extremely low commitment. Right. Meanwhile, there's the biggest, scariest force of Vanaheim right here, which would absolutely murder this group. I mean, this is a lot of Einherrs, and Einherrs demand respect. And this army shows a remarkable lack of respect. Now, there's more stuff coming in. The other problem about fighting Vanaheim is that, I mean, really fighting anyone, like even if he fought Jotunheim, it's going to pull a lot of his troops away from the Yss front. So he's got to keep a significant portion of stuff here just to keep from getting vultured or, maybe stop Yss in case he goes for a throne victory. But I don't know. They're both very far away. I just don't see this. I don't see this play for end. I do not see it. And I feel like Gog Reavers, too, they're great chassis, but they've got major weaknesses. Like, they don't have terribly great protection. They need buffs, especially by this time in the game. Like, this is like an early game army. This is like a turn 14 army. Like, hey, we're going to come fight you. Okay. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. Like, if you're going to fight Vanaheim, like, especially a stack like this, you're going to need, like, 10, 15 mages, like your Gog Reavers. Like some kind of tech. Like, Wooden Warriors, Battle Fortune, that kind of stuff. Drop that stuff all over your army. Let them run in there. This is like a low commitment in terms of numbers, a low commitment in terms of quality, and a low commitment in terms of time investment. I just don't see how this is going to end well for end here. Vanaheim probably feeling like they're king of the world right now. There haven't been a ton more battles. I think we've kind of already looked at the Ulm-Vanaheim conflict. And I think that is about it for this episode. So I think we'll call it there, guys. We will see you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.